All right, here we go. Today we have Gene Borrello, former associate of the Bonanno crime family. We actually did your first interview back in February 2020. But at the time, I was doing a John A-Light interview, and he asked me to kind of sit in at the end. So I didn't really know your backstory.
Right.
So this is actually our first real sit-down interview.
Absolutely. You know, when I first sat down with you, I was fresh out of the hole.
Yeah.
I looked like a zombie. I looked crazy. I was home 3 weeks, and they're like, you know, Johnny's like, come on this show. I had no idea what even YouTube was. I just did 6 years. I don't know nothing about nothing. He's like, all right. I didn't realize I was sitting on a huge show like this, and then I would blow up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It worked out pretty well for you.
It did. It
yeah, now you
did.
have your own show with John and
yeah.
everything else like that. I'm happy, man. I love when, we get to feature people for the first time. They go on to have a career. And
yeah, man. It blew me up for real.
That's what's up. All right, let's start on the very beginning.
Yeah.
So you grew up in Queens.
Born in Brooklyn, Canarsie, and then raised in Queens, yeah.
So, your dad.
Yeah.
He wasn't in the mob.
No.
But he was in the life of crime.
He was nuts. Yeah, my father was a street guy, armed robber, shooter. He was just a wild Brooklyn guy and did a lot of jail time. He actually did time because, I mean, it's a pretty crazy story. When he was younger, he went to a barbershop and a gay guy said he was good looking and went back in and he shot him. I mean, that's just the truth. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just being honest with you. That's what he did his time for. He didn't kill the guy, but he shot him because the gay guy said he was good looking and my dad wasn't feeling it. Came back like he felt like he embarrassed him and he shot him.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just what it is.
Well, didn't he get into like some situation where he stole like $800,000?
Oh, that was another situation. Yeah, he robbed biker guys from Canada for $800,000. Yeah, that was later on.
Okay. Yeah. And then what? He took the money, then kind of fled?
Off. Yeah, my father was a fucking nut. He decided to just rob these guys, and he was dealing with Cyril Perone too, which is a fucking Genovese legend. And he took off for $800,000 in a baseball bag. Yeah.
Okay, and then he just left the family after that?
Yeah, he just took off to Canada, and then he was on the run for a little while because they were going to kidnap me, but my cousin Anthony Ruggiano and them stepped in, and then this happened like 95, 96, and they squashed it. They were putting guns to my grandma in Canada and everything.
Oh.
Yeah, it was getting really crazy because, he stole all their money. I mean, so they were pretty mad, and that's what happened. But my mother's side was organized crime, and they kind of like saved me on that from them doing something to me.
Okay, because your grandfather was in the life as well.
Yeah, he was associate of my Uncle Andy. Right.
Okay, and then you have a cousin.
Johnny Boy.
Right.
He was a nut. My dad's, my Uncle Johnny's kid. He was with John Jr., and Charles Canigolo and him. He was doing a lot of work. He was with the Young Guns crew. Eddie Recca, Jerry Bruno, all them guys. They was killing people, robbing, doing everything, and bitch-ass John Jr. sent him to kill Vito Guzzo, supposedly. They went to go kill Vito Guzzo. My cousin shot him up. Vito survived. You left a hitman alive. And they pulled my cousin over, I want to say 2 months later, in a stolen district attorney van, and they shot him like 20-something times.
Okay, and your mom's uncle, he was a captain?
He was a legend, Fat Andy Ruggiano.
Aha.
He was mob royalty.
Yes.
Right, that's what I come from. So that's why, I was born into Gambino royalty, basically. That's my mother's godfather. So, and then I didn't go that route later on. I was supposed to be with the Gambinos. I ended up not going with the Gambinos over a situation. We'll get into it. But, yeah, it's always been known that I was Fat Andy's nephew, so,
Okay, and you're the oldest kid?
Yes.
Now, there was a situation where you saw your cousin killed in front of you?
No, not my cousin. No.
Did you see someone killed in front of you?
No.
No? Okay. My notes are bad. Okay, never mind. Okay, so you're growing up in this kind of family.
Yeah.
And then by age 14, you ended up essentially dropping out of school?
Yeah, 14 years old, I was done with school. I was a horror show from young. My mother used to hide from the teachers. You know what I mean? They would come out. She would hide. They're looking for her. His son stabbed him with a pencil, hit him with a thing. I was just a horror show in school, man, I was getting kicked out of every school, so they were just ended up putting me in self-contained. And when they put me in self-contained, it's not like I was retarded to be in special ed. It was just that I was so bad. So they put you in those classes, and I didn't like it. You know what I mean? So.
Okay, why the violence? Did your dad or stepdad beat you?
No, it was just in my blood. I was a hothead from young, and I just didn't take no shit. And I didn't win all the fights. I would lose too. You know what I mean? But I was just a wild kid, and that's just the way I operated.
Okay, so right around 15 years old, you started getting locked up.
Yeah.
For assaults and stuff like that?
Yeah, assaults.
You had like 4 assaults?
Yep, with weapons, yeah.
What kind of weapons?
Anything near me. Tools, we were beating up kids like football games. It just started getting, bats, everything,
Okay, but this was just kid stuff, essentially.
Yeah, bullshit.
Right. Because then by 17 years old, you moved out of your mother's house.
Yeah, I was kicked out, basically.
Kicked
yeah.
out.
I mean, you could say moved out, but yeah. Not
Okay.
kicked out. She would never kick me out, but I was just out of control, and, I just went on my own.
All right, so this is 2001.
Yeah.
You're on your own.
Yeah.
Where are you living?
So in Lindenwood, I'm in I'm basically with my grandparents.
Okay, so you moved in with your grandparents.
Yeah, my grandpa was a criminal as well, so
Okay.
it fit perfect.
All right, so right around 18, that's when you started associating with the mob?
Yeah, pretty much. Not saying I was with the mob, but I was around them all. I started selling drugs, to be honest with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you start with?
A little stuff, I started off with pills and just, I sold for Hootie, Anthony Russo. That's who I
Okay.
sold drugs for. I started off for Hootie, and then I started getting, more and more and more, and then I ended up getting locked up with a kilo of cocaine.
All right, and this was 18 years old.
18, my
All
grandfather.
right, so
yeah.
so you went from hand to hand to a kilo in 1 year?
Yeah, pretty much. Well, it's not even like hand to hand. It's just like if people ask for it, I have access to it. So nobody ever asked for it. I had access to it. You know what I'm saying? So my grandfather was in the middle of doing a deal, and his friend Danny Marcha, who was working for the police, we didn't know, he was telling me, oh, this guy wants a kilo. I says, well, I'll get it for a good price. He's like, what are you getting it for? I said, I'll get it for a better price. And it was a sting operation.
Okay, how much were kilos going for back then?
I want to say 24,000, maybe 23,000 I was getting it for. We were charging the guy. We should have known it was no good because we were charging him like 10,000 over the price. Because a cop will take it for any fucking price.
Right.
We weren't even thinking. I'm like, yo, tell this guy 33,000. And the guy was just agreeing to it. You know what I mean? So we should have known right there that, it was something fishy. But he trusted the guy. The guy was from Jersey. So.
Okay, so you and your grandfather get caught for this brick of cocaine.
Right.
And your grandfather got arrested too?
Yeah, me and he were there together. He's the one that did the sale.
And how old was he at the time?
69?
69 years old, still moving coke.
Yeah.
Okay.
My grandfather was funny, yeah.
How many years did he get?
So basically, we were under the old Rockefeller law still, which was dangerous, but we had A1 felonies, no bail. So my grandpa felt so horrible that I was caught up in it. He was writing to the judge and saying, my grandson had nothing to do with it. I just brought him with me. They still didn't want to hear that shit. They were still trying to give me time. So I ended up doing 20 months, but he ended up doing some years. 3 to 9 they gave him. Yeah.
3 to 9 at 69 years old.
Yeah, he came home, went back in, and died in prison. It was horrible.
Oh, man.
Yeah, for something else.
That's bad.
Yeah, he
sorry
was
to hear
cool.
that.
He was like my best friend. You know what I mean? He was an awesome guy.